Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
No one saw this coming, or at least no one wanted to believe it was possible. Through the first 6 games of the 2026 Major League season, the Boston Red Sox have been one of the worst teams in baseball, and here at Red Sox Focus, we are going to break down exactly how they got here, what the numbers actually tell us, and what this 1-5 start means for the broader trajectory of the season. The picture is not a pretty one, but it is an honest one, and it deserves a thorough examination. Let us start with the one moment worth celebrating before we get into everything that has gone wrong, because opening day was genuinely good, and it would be unfair to bury it. Garrett Crochet went 6 innings against the Cincinnati Reds, allowing 3 hits and no runs while striking out 8. The defining moment of his outing came in the bottom of the 6th, when he worked out of a bases-loaded jam by retiring Yandy Diaz, one of the more dangerous power bats in the Cincinnati lineup, to strand the runners and preserve the shutout. The Red Sox added 2 insurance runs late in the game to make it 3-0. Aroldis Chapman came in and closed the door in the 9th inning to pick up his first save of the season, and the overall picture was about as clean an opening day performance as you could reasonably ask for. Big green check mark, no complaints. And then everything fell apart. The Red Sox dropped the next 2 games of the Cincinnati series, traveled to Houston, and were swept by an Astros team that has been one of the hottest offensive units in baseball through the early portion of the season. 5 consecutive losses following the opening day win, a final record of 1-5, a run differential of -15. Last place in the American League East, the toughest division in the sport. That is the reality of where this team sits right now, and glossing over it does not serve anyone. The most alarming and analytically damning aspect of this start has been the offense's performance with runners in scoring position. The Red Sox are 2 for 58 with runners in scoring position through the first 6 games, which translates to a batting average of .034 in those situations. According to available statistical tracking, that figure represents the worst batting average with runners in scoring position through the first 4 games of a season, with a minimum of 48 at-bats, since the statistic began being formally recorded in 1962. Let that settle for a moment. In over 60 years of tracked baseball data, no team has been this consistently unable to deliver with runners on base through this portion of a season. That is not a slump. That is a historic level of offensive dysfunction in the most critical situational hitting category that exists. What compounds the frustration is that the failure is not limited to hard contact finding fielders or well-executed pitches inducing weak contact. The Red Sox are failing to execute the fundamental components of run production with runners in scoring position. The sacrifice bunt, the sacrifice fly, the contact-oriented approach designed simply to move a runner from second to third or put a ball in play deep enough to score a run from third, none of it has materialized with any consistency. When your pitching staff is navigating early season turbulence and your margin for error is already thin, the inability to convert even basic situational opportunities is the difference between a competitive record and what we are currently watching. The underlying swing decision and contact metrics paint an equally troubling picture. Through 6 games, the Red Sox rank 30th in the majors, dead last in zone swing percentage, meaning they are letting hittable pitches in the strike zone pass without offering at a rate worse than every other team in baseball. They rank 27th in zone contact percentage, 26th in chase contact percentage, 29th in first pitch swing percentage, 28th in whiff percentage, and, most damning of all, 30th in meatball swing percentage. That last figure means that when pitchers leave offerings right in the heart of the strike zone, the Red Sox are the least likely team in baseball to swing at them. They are taking gifts and watching them go by for strikes. The chase rate itself sits at 10th in the league, which tells you that when they are swinging, it is often at pitches outside the zone rather than the ones over the plate. The profile, taken in totality, describes a lineup that is simultaneously passive against quality pitches and undisciplined against bad ones. The individual struggles mirror the collective ones. Roman Anthony has 11 strikeouts in his first 22 at-bats, a rate that is simply not sustainable for a player trying to establish himself at the major league level. His swing appears to be consistently late, and pitchers have clearly identified a vulnerability that they are exploiting with regularity. The encouraging moment came late in yesterday's game against Houston, when he came to the plate as a pinch hitter and hit a home run to the opposite field, a genuinely impressive piece of hitting that demonstrated the raw talent is absolutely present. Whether that serves as the spark he needs to recalibrate his timing and approach going forward is the question. The hope is that it does. Caleb Durbin, the new third baseman acquired just before spring training, is 0 for 18 to start the season. He has not recorded a hit. That is a brutal way to begin a tenure with a new organization, and it has been felt acutely in the bottom third of the lineup, where the Red Sox can least afford to carry an automatic out. Durbin's value proposition was never predicated on elite offensive production. He was brought in as a contact-oriented defender with the ability to put the ball in play and hold his own at a park suited to his profile. But 0 for 18 is beyond a slow start by any reasonable definition, and until he breaks through, the lineup construction problem at the bottom of the order remains unresolved. Jarren Duran has been decent at the plate, but contributed one of the more frustrating individual moments of the early season when he was picked off first base without a lead, not leaning, simply caught flat-footed, in a situation where the Red Sox were actively trying to manufacture runs. For a player whose value is substantially tied to his ability to create chaos on the bases, getting picked off in a key moment is a costly mistake that directly undermined a rally. There was one genuinely extraordinary moment in the series against Cincinnati that deserves recognition before moving forward. With the Red Sox down to their final strike in the late innings, Wilyer Abreu worked a hanging breaking ball in the upper portion of the strike zone and hit it over the right field wall for a solo home run to tie the game and force extra innings. That is the kind of at-bat that defines resilience. 2 outs, final strike, season teetering in the balance, and a young outfielder delivers. Unfortunately, the Red Sox then failed to score the free runner from second base in either the 10th or 11th inning and lost the game anyway, which made Abreu's heroics feel even more deflating in retrospect. But the swing itself was a reminder of what this lineup is theoretically capable of when it executes. Speaking of Abreu, he and Wong are, without question, the 2 most productive offensive players on this roster through 6 games. Abreu has been hitting for power with consistency, producing doubles and home runs across multiple ballparks. Wong, remarkably, is hitting 500 years through his opportunities, going 5 for 10 and providing a level of offensive contribution that no one anticipated from the catcher position entering the season. The decision to start Wong ahead of Carlos Narvaez in the final game of the Houston series, which Cora described publicly only as the right thing to do, declining to clarify whether it was performance-based or disciplinary, becomes somewhat easier to contextualize when you look at what Wong has delivered at the plate. Whether Narvaez's benching was earned by Wong's performance or prompted by something else entirely remains unclear. But the results argue in Wong's favor, and the Red Sox need every productive bat they can find right now. Crochet's start against Houston on Thursday warrants a fair and honest assessment. He has historically struggled at Minute Maid Park. His ERA entering the game was elevated in that ballpark, and the outing did not improve that number. He allowed the Red Sox to fall behind after they had jumped out to an early lead, surrendered the tying run, and ultimately gave up a 3-run home run to Carlos Correa into the Crawford boxes at a moment when the game was still very much in the balance. After the game, Crochet was candid and self-critical, calling the performance embarrassing and taking personal responsibility for the loss. That accountability is admirable, and it reflects the competitive standard he holds himself to. But in terms of the actual distribution of blame for this team's record, Crochet's one imperfect outing is a minor contribution to a much larger systemic problem rooted in offensive failure. A negative 15 run differential through 6 games is a number that cannot be explained away by schedule difficulty or bad luck. The Astros are a very good offensive team, and being swept by them carries less stigma than being swept by a lesser opponent might. But the Cincinnati losses are harder to rationalize, and the pattern of stranding runners, failing in critical situations, and swinging at the wrong pitches while taking the right ones is a team-wide issue that no single lineup adjustment or individual hot streak will fully resolve. That said, perspective matters, and it needs to be applied here with the same analytical honesty as the criticism. The 2025 Red Sox started the season 2-4 and went on to win 89 games and reach the postseason. They were 40-42 at the midpoint of that season and still found a way. This is a 162-game season, and 6 games represents less than 4% of it. The margin for recovery is enormous. The schedule ahead includes winnable series, and the talent on this roster, when functioning, is demonstrably better than what the first 6 games have shown. Crochet is a genuine ace. Abreu and Wong are producing. Yoan Moncada has shown flashes of the power that makes him one of the more dangerous bats in the lineup. The pieces are there. The urgency is real. The concern is legitimate. But the verdict on this season is nowhere near written. What needs to happen is clear. The lineup must begin converting with runners in scoring position, the passive approach against strikes in the zone must be corrected, and the bottom of the order needs at least one reliable contributor to emerge. None of those things are impossible. Several of them are probable given enough time. Do not abandon this team yet. It is far too early for that conversation. We will continue to monitor every development and bring you the full picture right here at Red Sox Focus. Go Sox!
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.